Today I'm going to talk about this week's announcement of Fender's new American Professional Classic line. I've got some thoughts on the features and finishes, and most importantly, on the name. First, I just want to acknowledge this video is maybe only of transient interest. I'm responding solely to the marketing materials around the announcement. I've not yet seen or played one of these instruments. I also want to note that I had hoped to record this video on Wednesday, the day of the announcement. I first read about these new instruments at 1 a.m. on Wednesday, as I was still lying awake in bed, desperately hoping to get some sleep before my 6:30 alarm. I'm self-employed, and I work a somewhat erratic schedule, so I don't normally wake up to an alarm. But on Wednesday morning, I had to drive 3.5 hours north to Bemidji, Minnesota, because my band was scheduled to tape an episode of Backroads for Lakeland PBS. All the way on the drive, I was working out talking points in my head. I was hoping to shoot this video on location in front of Bemidji's famous Paul Bunyan statue and have you guess where I was. But I got delayed in a construction zone and I didn't have time for the video once I finally made it to Bemidji. Right after the taping, I hit the Culver's drive-thru and then made a beeline across northern Minnesota to meet up with my wife and son for a mini vacation we had planned on the north shore of Lake Superior. So now it's Saturday, I'm back at home, and I finally have time to talk about music gear. Enough preamble, let's get into it already. And if you feel so inclined along the way, please click like and subscribe, and check the description for other ways to support the channel. Okay, here we go. The lineup. The American Professional Classic line is apparently replacing the American Performer as Fender's most affordable US-made series. A few American Performers are still available on Fender's website at a reduced price, but it's clear they're on the way out. Several colors are sold out already. Fender's most popular designs are all present and accounted for in this new lineup. The legendary Telecaster and Stratocaster guitars each come in two different pickup configurations. We get both of the classic offset guitar designs, the Jazzmaster and the Jaguar, and there are three basses, Precision, Jazz, and Mustang. The classic Strat and Tele configurations each come in 6 color options, and the rest of the guitars come in 4 colors. The basses, as usual, are more limited. Each comes in 3 colors. Since I'm a bass player, I'm going to focus mostly on the basses. The specs. In many ways, the specs of these basses are, unsurprisingly, pretty similar to the American Performer line that they're replacing. I do find it disappointing, but consistent with Fender's trend when introducing a new line that replaces an old one at the same price point, that they're using this opportunity to remove features. Both the Precision and the Mustang in the old American Performer lineup were supplemented with a second jazz pickup in the bridge position. These new basses only have a single pickup, the classic Precision split coil, and the Mustang's old-school mini split coil. The most striking and honestly really cool cosmetic difference on these new basses, besides the new color options, is that they all come with 60s-style lollipop tuners instead of the usual cloverleaf-style tuners. I'm a sucker for any visual deviation from the standard elements Fender usually sticks to. I think the only other production basses Fender currently makes with these tuners are the American Vintage 2 Jazz bass, which sells for an eye-watering $2,600, and a pair of signature models, the Adam Clayton Jazz Bass and the JMJ Road-Worn Mustang. Let's see, what else is distinctive about this lineup? They have newly designed Coastline pickups, vintage tone with a twist, according to the marketing copy. I was thinking, with Fender's cost-saving tactics, that they might use ceramic magnets, but they're sticking with classic Alnico magnets. They also feature Fender's grease bucket tone circuit. There's not really much new about the rest of the features. As with the Performer, the P and J are using standard Fender bridges, not high mass, and only the Mustang has a through body option, which I think is necessary given the Mustang's unique bridge design. As for the necks, they're maple with satin urethane finish, maple or rosewood fretboards depending on the body color you select, medium jumbo frets, dot inlays, and a synthetic bone nut, all pretty standard Fender specs.
It's tried and true.
They've also changed the decals on the headstocks from the 70s-style Fender logo and model name in a chunky curved Helvetica to the spaghetti logo with model names in Futura at a small point size. I generally prefer this new look, except on the Mustang. I like the little speed lines of the old treatment. The colors. Fender has introduced a new lineup of faded versions of some of their most classic colors for this lineup. Faded Lake Placid Blue, Faded Sherwood Green, Faded Dakota Red, Faded Fire Mist Gold. Plus, for the Strat, Faded Black. And they all, of course, come in 3-color sunburst. The Telly also comes in Butterscotch Blonde because how could it not? The basses each get 3 meager color options, shuffling up the new faded looks between them. The Precision gets Lake Placid Blue and Sherwood Green, the Jazz gets Dakota Red and Fire Mist Gold, and the Mustang gets Dakota Red and Sherwood Green. And yes, all 3 also get 3-color sunburst. Here's something fun. I'm sick of black pickup covers. The Mustang gets white ones. I really think the knobs should also be white to match, but knobs are easy to replace. As I mentioned earlier, the fretboard is either maple or rosewood, depending on the body color, and I think they made some smart choices with these. Sherwood Green and Fire Mist Gold get rosewood, Lake Placid Blue and Dakota Red get maple. The pickguards are black with the sunburst finish. The other colors get tortoise shell on Precision and Jazz, but all 3 colors of the Mustang have a black pickguard. Spoiler, I don't plan to buy any of these. But if I were to buy one, I know exactly which one it would be, the Mustang in Dakota Red. I keep looking at it and wanting it more. But I already have a Mustang bass I really like. In fact, let's talk about that a bit. A digression on the quirks of the Mustang bass. The Mustang bass fills an important role in Fender's lineup. It's their only short-scale bass. The classic Mustang design has a couple of unusual quirks for Fender. It comes with a unique, capsule-shaped mini split-coil pickup. It also has a large, oddly shaped bridge, inspired by the one on the Mustang guitar. Those features help make the Mustang visually unique, but they honestly don't really do much to affect its sound. A regular precision-based split-coil pickup at the same position will sound pretty much the same, even if visually it does seem a bit out of scale with the Mustang's smaller body. And honestly, I think the differences people claim to hear with high-mass bridges are mostly a placebo effect. To me, the most important elements of a bridge design are how easy it is to install the strings and how flexible the saddle adjustments are for action and intonation. In short, although I like the look of the Mustang bridge and pickup, I prefer the versatility for modding that comes with the Mustang from the Made in Mexico Player series, which is the one I own. In addition to a second jazz pickup in the bridge position, it uses a standard precision split coil pickup and a standard Fender 5-screw bridge. That means that the Player Mustang bass can be modded with any pickups or bridge designed to work with a Fender Precision or Jazz bass. Since those 2 bass designs are so popular, they offer by far the largest number of third-party modding options. I think the more expensive the instrument, the less likely you're going to want to mod it from stock parts. But as I learned with my previous experience with American-made Fender basses, you still might want to swap out the pickups and the bridge. The marketing. Okay, believe it or not, this is what I've really wanted to talk about for this entire video. The awkward name, American Professional Classic, and how it fits into Fender's overall lineup. When I first got into Fender instruments in the 90s, their core lineup made a lot of sense. They had 2 main guitar designs, the Stratocaster and Telecaster, and 2 bass designs, the Precision and the Jazz. Each was available in one of 4 main series, corresponding to their country of manufacture and feature set, which both affected the price. They had the Standard and the Deluxe, made in Mexico, and the American Standard and American Deluxe, made in California. Other models and special lines might come and go, but these were the essential series, and the choices between them were clear. In the early 2010s, Fender revamped their lineup and the corresponding marketing scheme. Again, there were 4 main series, this time 1 from Mexico and 3 from the US, and the names evoked a logical progression: Player, Performer, Professional, Elite. It reminded me of the grid Steve Jobs used to describe Apple's Mac lineup after he returned to the company and got the colossal mess they were in sorted out. It was a grid of 4 products. On one side were the consumer Macs, and on the other side, the Pro Macs. Each one came in both a desktop and laptop model. Simple, intuitive. If you knew what you needed, it was easy to decide which Mac to buy. Of course, entropy inevitably takes over, and things devolve back into chaos. Today, Apple makes 6 different types of Macs, each in a plethora of configurations. Just yesterday, tech blogger John Gruber posted about consumers' confusion over whether they should buy a MacBook Air or MacBook Pro. Meanwhile, Fender currently lists 9 different series of basses on their website, in an order that gives no indication of where they fall in the quality hierarchy. Player 2 Modified, American Ultra 2, American Vintage 2, American Professional 2, American Performer, Player 2, Vintera 2, Artist Signature, and Standard. And that doesn't even include the new American Professional Classic. If you're a new Fender customer, how are you supposed to know, from that list, which series is right for you? Excluding the specialized and discontinued series and ranking the rest in order, we have this hierarchy. Standard, made in Indonesia. Player 2, made in Mexico. American Professional Classic, American Professional 2, American Ultra 2. Not quite as tidy as Player, Performer, Professional, Elite, is it? Let's also talk about what happened to the Elite. It got replaced several years ago with the Ultra, which by almost any measure was really a cost-saving downgrade. First, there's the bridge. The American Professional has a really smartly designed 3-screw, high-mass, through-body bridge. The Elite had that same bridge, but the Ultra replaced it with the blocky, stock Fender high-mass bridge with no through-body option. The Elite also came with neck binding and block inlays. Those at least did carry over to the Ultra, but the Ultra 2 lost those features as well. So now we have, at a considerably higher price, the American Ultra 2, which lost features from the Ultra it replaced, which lost features from the Elite it replaced. Putting the new American Professional Classic line in that context, contrary to what the name might imply, it actually has nothing to do with the old American Professional line. It's replacing the American Performer and basically matches those specs in terms of hardware like the bridge. It doesn't have the unique American Professional bridge design. It's a standard non-high-mass 5-screw bridge. And like the Ultra replacing the Elite, the American Professional Classic actually loses features the American Performer had, most notably the bridge jazz pickups on the Precision and Mustang. So the American Professional Classic, arguably better color options aside, is generally a downgrade from the Performer it's replacing, at the same price. Then of course there's the name itself, American Professional Classic. What the hell is that? It's not the classic version of the American Professional. Honestly, I suspect this is a committee decision. I think someone originally came up with the idea of calling it the American Classic, which honestly would be a pretty great name and would be fitting for an American-made Fender that doesn't use true vintage specs, but is inspired by classic design elements like the traditional bridge. But then someone on the committee said, wait a second, we need to make this sound more like it's geared towards pro players. What if we stuck professional in there? Well, we already have a professional line. Okay, how about American Professional Classic? I bet no one in the room actually liked the name, but no one could think of anything better. It's a camel. The name is, without a doubt, the worst thing about this lineup. These honestly seem like legitimately solid instruments and are probably worth the money once you recalibrate your brain to 2025 prices. Final thoughts. The big question for me is, if I already own a Precision bass, a Jazz bass, and a Mustang bass I'm reasonably happy with, and I do, is there any reason I would want to replace or supplement any of those with a new instrument from this lineup? Short answer, other than the enticing new colors, no. But the question for someone else who doesn't already own instruments they're happy with is, are these worth it? If you're in the market for a new American-made Fender instrument, it's hard to argue against at least checking these out. At $1,600, they're actually $100 more expensive than my old American Professional P-Bass was when I bought it in 2018. But meanwhile, the American Professional 2 lineup has just had another price increase, so now it runs about $300 more than these instruments. At the moment, I would say jump on any available remaining stock of the American Performer while you can still get them at closeout prices. $1,200 for an American-made Fender is a great deal, and things are only going to continue to get more expensive. I have absolutely no doubt that these American Professional Classic instruments are using first-rate components, but we'll need to see, once they start hitting the market in the coming weeks, whether Fender's quality control standards are there. I had some bad luck, documented in earlier videos, with both an American Ultra Jazz and a Mod Shop Precision. So let's just say I'm a bit wary of the work coming out of Fender's Corona factory. But maybe, I hope, it's better now than it was a couple of years ago. So again, I would say in 2025, if I wanted to buy a new American-made Fender instrument, Yeah, I think I would definitely check out one of these. In fact, I do keep eyeing that Mustang in faded Dakota red, but I really don't need it. 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 I really don't need it.